Greetings to all, sending you warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, and I'm coming to you live from the garden. Did the workout. I got so many tasks going on, so this is why I got to get into this natural lifestyle, honey, because I got other things to do with my time. So if I was being this perfectionist and putting on 2 tons of makeup and a whole bunch of nails, y'all would never see me. It's just not functional for my lifestyle. But shout out to those women who I admire who do. So today we're going to make some beet milk, and we're going to be using one of my favorite items in the kitchen, which is the plant milk bag, right? So if you don't have a fancy juicer or if you don't have a $600 blender, no problem. If you give me a knife and cutting board, I am fine, right? So we're going to use this. This is super, super sturdy. I've been using these for years. This one I had made special because of the resiliency of the fabric, so that when I'm milking my plants, when I'm making my milk, I don't have big holes as like with cheesecloth, and then all that pulp is coming out into it, and then it's not as smooth the texture. So textures, flavors, flavor balance, and presentation can make a big difference in your enjoyment of the food. So if you're interested in seeing how I make my plant milk, stick around, stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazzy tags, and welcome. If you're new to this channel, I'm Body-Culinary professional chef, personal trainer, natural born woman. Shout out to you, whatever your expression is. And I just said chops and coconuts, how we always have food in my face. And on this channel, I love to share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance, really celebrating and appreciating the unique features I have been divinely assigned while out here on earth. And I love to share and, give some positive motivation for 3 lifestyle practices, 3 leverage lifestyle practices that can serve us well until our hair is white. And those lifestyle practices are peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, garden therapy, so deeply therapeutic, and a personal movement practice, whether you're reactivating one, whether you never started one, you may have some issues with your back, your knees, things that are holding you back, you may be apprehensive about starting to move. It's probably one of the best parts of my day, right? There's nothing like it. These are lifestyle practices that we actually have access to that really give you back a tremendous return for the investment of your time and your attention. So to make sure that we're reaping off of the investment of our time. So I was bleeding with sweat. I think it was not even 2 weeks ago, I came to you all, one of those moments, and I was showing how, sharing how I was at 140, one of my largest and heaviest weights. Now, I don't look like it. And I've had someone tell me that I shouldn't share things like that. However, sometimes I just look at all the okie doke that's going on in the effort for folks to sell us products, more products for our hair and our skin. I just get there's an undertone of affirming insecurity, or I'm not good enough as I am, or I don't feel comfortable in going through the natural phases of life, which might be a pimple, which might be some stretch marks from having a baby, which might be gray hair, which might be the imperfections of life. They come. So I'm very pointed and intentional around being able to relax in my own skin. We deserve to feel comfortable in our own skin. So over here in this little corner of the internet, natural bodies matter. So if you have small fish, we're just going to make sure that they're growth and tumor free, right? As we're following people, and sometimes these different celebrities that put stuff in, take it out, we're following them. Then when they change, you're kind of left hanging. So there's nothing. It's not about shaming you. Whatever you decide to do with your body, that's your divine right. I'm not the hair police. I'm not the food police. Everyone is on their own individual journey. However, I invite you to consider the freedom, the possible freedom with embracing your hair. I have very, very fine hair. Embracing the texture. Like you can breathe. I just came from numerous activities. I've been up, I've been getting great sleep. Some of the best sleep ever. My skin is even showing it. See, I love that I can be free, right? And I had a tremendous amount of acne. So I like that I don't have to go sit in the salon for hours. You can if you want to play. And if you want to spend money and be creative. I don't have to put on tons of makeup. I prioritize play and being free in my hair and skin. and being able to sweat and to feel my skin breathing. Health and confidence are prioritized to me over someone's moving goalposts of beauty. That just is what it is. So in the cocoon, we're celebrating my birthday all month. If you're welcome to come celebrate with me. So 4:30 in the morning, journal writing and deep breathing and relaxation. 5 o'clock in the morning, if you filled out the Discord application, Flowah and Body-Culinary coaching community, the application, we can see who you are for everyone's safety. You'll receive a link to the workout, right? So 4:30, deep breathing, goal setting, intention, journaling. 5 o'clock in the morning is, yes, Eastern Standard Time. It's Harriet squat workout. 12 noon, my time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do something around nutrition, working with whatever we have available. If that's what's available, just like Grandma Lou said, that's available, that's what we eat, right? And then at 9 p.m., we are doing, they call it intermittent fasting. I'm going with Grandma Lou. Kitchen's closed, time to go to sleep and rest your body and plug your body back into the charger so that you can really take advantage of all those foods that you're eating and that you're paying for. You know, there's no substitute for sleep. Coffee and stimulants are not sleep. It's actually like a really kind of not so good trick it's not a good trick of playing on the body. You're stimulating with the EKG and you're making it work. That's not a substitute for rest and relaxation and being able to effectively and efficiently absorb the nutrition, right? So it's literally holistic. So if you fill out the application, you will get a link. And yeah, 9 o'clock p.m., we're doing some yoga, some flexibility, and some core work, which is not just your abdominals. Your core also includes your glutes. And then you'll get nice and warm and pliable and sweaty, and then we go to bed. 10 p.m. is light out. We're going to sleep. You'll be amazed at how much your body, I know people like to say weight loss. I have my own little language perspective. I like to say weight release. Why? Because your body knows what to do. It knows how to release weight. It knows how to balance itself to a healthy weight that is appropriate for you. When we just stop putting in all these substances masquerading as food. So we're eating whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods. You can call yourself whatever label tickles your fancy. All of us can benefit from a whole, fresh, living, unprocessed food, right? And taking hair off the table, I'm not worried about that. I'm not putting on a whole bunch of makeup. This is it. It's rough. And I just finished chopping the coconut. Yesterday I was coming in the door to make something really quick, and I couldn't get my coconut open. I didn't have my machete handy. So today I just cracked it open with my little machete. And so we're going to, let's see what we're going to do. We have a nice little beet from a local farmer. That's funny. And we're going to see what we're going to put in here. I think we're going to use some bananas. So I did get a nice workout, so I've earned my azúcar, my natural sugar. And I like to use bananas that are fully ripe. Not hot, but ripe. And today we're not going to use the fancy Vitamix. We're just going to use our little old juice bowl. So let me put the machete out of the way. Not the gun, the machete. So we have coconut today. We have beet. I also have been working on some things for Flowah Fit Coaching and Community, cutting the guesswork out of nutrition and fitness, right? This is a lifestyle. So we're going to be using beets, and I've been using a digital scale because I like to think I'm a scientist and an investigator. So we're going to cut off the greens. Those beet greens are not so fresh, so we're going to go in the compost. And we're not even going to use the whole beet. I love beets. When I was little, I couldn't stand beets because we were made to eat beets and they were in a can. I thought they were disgusting. So shout out to my grandma, one of my grandmas. They grew up in the Depression, so they saved a lot of canned goods, and they would keep them in the room closet. They was like stacked up with canned goods and ShopRite and everything else. Just the taste was like, I could not stand beets. Then I discovered fresh, living whole beets, night and day difference. Very crunchy and sweet, lots of texture and color. I was like, why can't we? They had given me the living beets, that weren't cooked to death. But I do understand that back then, folks held on to food in case of an emergency. So people would sometimes have food in their drawers, have food everywhere, right? Also, I don't use honey, although we did find inside of my garden some honeycombs a couple of weeks ago, right? So all kind of creatures out there, they're pollinators inside of the garden. So had it not been sprayed by a bee person, I definitely would have tasted it. It smelled so exquisite. I'm putting these in the compost for compost tea, right? And also to break down into compost. I like to clean as I go. So, banana. So this will be more than one serving. I have my beet so far, and let's look at what else I want to add to this. I have ideas for several things. I think I also, I'm going to make it optional. I'm going to take a little big thumb knob of ginger, and I like to grate my ginger because that way I find it preserves. It's so dark here. That preserves some of the ginger, right? So all of it, when I'm peeling it, I'm not losing it on the knife. Yes, I came right out of the garden, washed my hands and brushed my nails with the nail brush, and on to the next activity. Maybe just me that I don't know, I need a functional lifestyle because I have lots to do. And I like my day to be filled with activity. That works for me. So I'm just taking the spoon and I'm slightly scraping this outer skin of the ginger so that it slides right off, and I hold on to a lot of my ginger. Sometimes ginger, especially if it's organic, can get really pricey. So fragrant. I don't know if you like ginger. If you don't like ginger, you can put that over to the side, right? We'll go inside of our compost. And I think what I will add is I'm going to add, so we have an option. We can either go a little citrusy or we can go a little more creamy, like a milk. So being that we just I just cut the coconut. I'm going to give the coconut a rinse so the shaft is not on it, and I'm going to use some of the coconut meat. Now, there are different ages and varieties of coconut, right? I'm going to rinse this off because when you're chopping it with a machete, sometimes you have a lot of the fiber all over the place. So this is a younger coconut. It's almost like a mature jelly. It's not hard, but this is the texture of the jelly. That it's not so much jelly. It's like between jelly and a fine meat. So it's right in between. This is a great texture. So depending on the texture, I can do a lot of different things with that. So I'm going to scoop the meat out of the coconut, out of this younger coconut. And so this would be the mature coconut. Still has lots of water in it. And this would be a younger coconut, right? The other one is the elder coconut. So I'm going to scoop the meat out, put it in our bowl. So there's our coconut meat, and it's charging a fortune for coconut meat now in the States. I want to make sure I don't get any hard pieces of the coconut shaft or the tops of the coconut there. Put that right out. And interestingly enough, my bunnies really like to eat the coconut coir or the fiber from the coconut. A little bit more there. So I like to, when I'm preparing food, I always say, like, it can really make you appreciate food when we're just gulping it down. The work that somebody has to do to nurture the trees and to harvest it, you can really have a tendency to take it for granted. So if you're not that savvy with the machete, if you can just get one end of or cleaver, being careful, don't do this to young children. If you get one end of it open, you can take a big spoon and scoop your meat out of your coconut. And fresher always tastes better to me. Okay, so there's the meat out of our coconut. So we got a decent amount. There's all of our coconut meat that we just scraped out of a fresh coconut. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rinse so that the fiber is not in there. I can get some of that fiber. And I already poured the water of the coconut out. So if you're making a milk, you want the texture to be relatively smooth. So you may want to go in with your paring knife. And although some parts of the shaft that are there may be kind of not hard, like the mature coconut shell, not hard like that, you still want a smooth milk, right? So I'm just going to trim it off just a little bit. That's some of the brown parts. This isn't hard, right, that brown piece, but I don't want those pieces inside my milk, right? I want a smoother textured milk, right? And I'll save this a little bit. Yeah, we don't want to waste anything, especially if you're in the States. Or even if you're doing a lot of work to cut the coconut meat out, it's a lot of work. You want to use everything. You don't want to waste. All right. So we've got our bananas. We've got jengibre or ginger, and we've got coconut meat, and we've got a beet. So what I'm going to do, I'm not even using a whole beet. And again, this is one of my favorite foods. This is a great food if you're anemic. Beets are fantastic. Oh, no, not that one. One, salted water. So I'm going to use some salted water. You can use the cleanest water that's available to you. I'm also going to add the coconut water that I just bust out of that coconut. So we're going to use our regular old NutriBullet. So this is simple. I like to make things real simple, and it might get a little bit soft. Now let's blend up some clean water and the beet. You want to blend it till it's smooth, but not until it's hot. We don't want to cook it. So look at that vibrant color. So we don't need all of those artificial colors. Don't need it. Don't need it. All right. And I'm going to take my, let's say this is even better. Even better. I have my favorite tools in here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite tools. Why? Because it's easy, actually, to line up the plant milk bag inside of this nice, and this is a 32-ounce Pyrex flask. It fits in there perfectly, right? So let me pour the beet juice on here. So I'm going to pour the beet juice inside of the plant milk bag. And let's proceed to milk it, which is so easy. And you can always wash the bag with water. Has a very distinct scent, fresh. Now I could have put the ginger in here, but I find sometimes I like my ginger really, really strong, so I'm going to put the whole piece of ginger in here. All right, so let me rinse this out because I don't want any pulp inside of it. All right, so now we have that beet juice. Look at some light over here. We have the beet juice. Let's put it back. And we're going to add, chop up a little bit, the jengibre. And we're going to add the bananas. And we're going to add the coconut meat. All of that goes right into the NutriBullet. So this is going to be our beet milk. The nice thing with coconut is that it's so sweet. Now, if you don't want to use salted water, you can just use the water. You can use the water straight out of the coconut. paying attention to flavor, color, presentation. Ooh. All right, so here's our beet milk. It's nice and creamy from that fresh, the fresh coconut milk. Taste it. That's good. I have ginger. I probably would have put just a little bit more ginger. Y'all might think it's nice and spicy. So, if not, here's what I can also do. I can also add the coconut water. So this is the coconut water that I just took out of that of the coconut. Yeah, let's see what we got here. So I'm going to take the coconut water. Let me taste it. That's so delicious. So here's the coconut water. So I want to make a distinction. I love distinctions. So what I'm doing, rather than buying agave and stevia and maple syrup and honey, I'm going to use my coconut water for sweetener. But it's so sweet. Sometimes we're just going to town with too much sugar. Too much sugar. And I think I might add a little bit of ice cubes. I stopped using ice for many years on Living Foods. A lot of things. I've had hot tea and ice cubes. But sometimes I decided to, after 11, 12 years, something, I decided to add them back every now and then. Especially as I like to make food for people. So I'm sensitive to, a lot of tastes and textures may be different for people. And some people might go into shock at having taken food that is room temperature. Right? So a little chill, not ice cold, definitely not ice cold because that's a shock, can be quite a shock to your system. Right? All right, so let's put this in. So we added the coconut water and a little bit of ice cubes. Coconut water. Just have it to clean as you go, so you don't have a whole explosion inside of your kitchen. And it's very pleasant. So it's a good habit. Make sure you wipe out the NutriBullet, because sometimes folks leave food, all kind of food pieces inside the NutriBullet, then it's all cruddy and the stuff gets dried on there for the next person that has to use it behind you. And little things like that can turn you off from wanting to go inside the kitchen, or your significant other from wanting to go in the kitchen. All right, so let's test out our beet milk, and I'm going to have to more than likely run into the garden to grab a piece of herb for my milk. I think I just have it right there. The texture is really nice. It's really nice. So here is our beet milk, y'all. Wow, that's nice. That's delicious. So great for your skin. Not too heavy on the sugar. You'll probably find, now I could jazz this up, you'll probably find that this can be satisfying. Sometimes, and I'm just discussing this this morning with somebody in Flowah coaching, that sometimes we have a tendency, because we're told to drink so much water, we're just chug-a-lugging and guzzling down the water, and we're not even present to when we've had enough, and we're trying to get it all in at one time. Whereas naturally, we would sip water throughout the day and hopefully have water, living, high-quality water inside the fruits and vegetables, right? In addition to, if we weren't eating so much sodium and dried out foods, the foods with added, very devitalized cheap salt, then we wouldn't need to drink so much water, right? We'll be hydrated. So I could take this up a notch. It smells good too. I could add a bit of chia seeds to this, and this is actually going to give me more than one serving. This actually gives me more than one serving. Ooh, the wind is really blowing out. So I could take this and put this inside a jar, and I can have some for later. Let me get another little jar now. And I love jars that have the measurements on them. So then I know how much. So I have some for now and some for later. And I think I'm going to go and add a little bit of chia seeds to this. Maybe a little teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit of chia seeds to this. And I think I'll put some. So I'll let that sit for a minute, and I'll put some in my one for later. So I don't know if it will turn like a pudding. I don't think it will turn like a pudding. But it is going to swell in it to add some more extra flavor. Also, these are good fats. These are very good fats. So we don't want to heat them. The flax seeds and the chia seeds, we don't necessarily want to heat them. But we can let them swell. So, yes, y'all. So this is a way to stretch your sugars. Even with natural sugars, you can stretch your sugars so that you're balancing and being mindful of your sugar intake and not having to eat all these substances masquerading as food in the name of sweetening something. This is more than enough sweet. Keep in mind, I'm eating fruit that is ripe. When fruit is not ripe, it's starchy. Almost like putting a bunch of starch or flour in your mouth, and it can be very clogging and constipating. So here we have our beet milk. So look at the can. Here is the beet milk. The texture is really lovely. The texture is lovely. I'm going to let that sit a little bit. Let me sit a little bit. It's nice and sweet. It's not too sweet. And the ginger adds like a really beautiful aroma to it. So the color and the sense of food is very sensual. I find it very sensual. So for me to be running down the street slurping something out of a straw, it's not likely I'm going to have the same experience. So it's wonderful if you can slow down to eat. This is a perfect opportunity for a personal prayer, right? The food, many say that plants have feelings, which I think they do. There is a hierarchy of consumption. If not peaceful consumption, at least the least harm possible, right? Definitely to your own organs, definitely to the plants and the animals that give us their lives, for us. So I don't prefer animal food at this point in life. I used to, but everybody's on their own journey. But and the smell is exquisite. I mean, people smell wine. I'm smelling the food all the time because it smells really beautiful. And I love the deep red color. I love the texture from the coconut. I also find that in using the whole fresh ingredients, you start to become much more aware of portion sizes. Nature has built a lot of portion sizes already into the food, into the one coconut, right? Into one coconut. I've got water, and I've got enough coconut meat that I can do several things with it, and it's very satisfying. When we're eating processed foods, you can take a couple of spoonfuls of oil, and you'll likely have more fat than this, and you also don't have the living water and the other nutrients that also come in the package, which is why I like to make the distinction of whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods. So thank y'all for joining me this birthday month. If you can get out of bed and wake yourself up, you're invited for the rest of the month to come and take class. 4:30 in the morning is deep breathing, relaxation and journal writing. 5 o'clock is Harriet squat workout. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is nutrition. Hopefully you can catch the playback if you're not able to. And then at 9 p.m., we are doing core and flexibility flow, which will set you up to turn off the lights and go to bed at 10 o'clock and get into bed. So we are doing Grandma Lou's style, turn off the lights and go to bed. They're calling it intermittent fasting, but it's allowing your body to rest, plug into the charger, and metabolize and burn up some of those piles of undigested meals that we have inside of the system. So you're welcome to join me for the rest of the month. There should be a link in the About section, right? So we can identify who did the safe space. So thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free again to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, how is your healthy eating journey going, and have you started planting anything in your garden? I will see you real soon. Hopefully I'll see you soon.